here. Today we are going to make a witch's cauldron. We're going to have a lot of fun making it. So we're going to be using the black mesh and the 14-inch wire frame, and I will show you the rest as we get started. Oh, and witch's legs. So let's get started. Alright, so this is what we're going to use to make our cauldron. I just have a 14-inch wire wreath frame, and I have a Deco poly mesh. This is the 10 by 10 yards, and this is a really pretty one. I want to show you this just so you can see. It is just a very fine weave. I just like this one, this black one. I think it's really pretty. So that's what we're going to use. And we're going to be using some zip ties. So, I have some more. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pinch it together. Okay, so once you get it pinched, you're going to go to your frame. I like to start where there's a crossbar because I know for sure it's going to stay in place. So, I will just get my zip tie on there. Make sure I have it in there good. Okay. Tighten it. Now I want to make sure you see that I am on the back of the frame, because what I'm going to do is go around the front and pull it down like this. Now I don't want this one to be real wide, so I'm going to pull it like this. I'm going to come back and cover this. I'm just going to come around the back, get a zip tie. I want to go on the second or third wire because I want it to be back here where you cannot see it, because we want all of our workings to be hidden in the back. So you just pull it around. That one's just too small to work with. Let's just use the bigger one. Okay. And go right in here. Then I'm gonna tie it down. And I want to make sure that I keep this tight because I don't want it to come off. There we go. Honestly, the first little one right here is really the most difficult. Once you get past that, it's fine. I kind of like to have some of it kind of hide around the back like this, because then it just covers up that wire. You don't have to worry about it. So once you get that first one going, it's pretty easy after that. You're just going to be repeating the same pattern over and over. So you just take your mesh, just like this. You just go back across where you just went. Whoops, this is wanting to move. So, let's fix that. I'm kind of glad that happened because I think it's good for you to see how to fix it when it does that. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and I'm going to run it right through this mesh. I'm just kind of sticking it through, and I'm going to tie it right to the crossbar, and that will help it so it's not sliding up and down. See, that stops it from sliding up and down. Okay, there we go. You can do the exact same thing on this other one. So I'll just take this pipe cleaner and just Did I say pipe cleaner? Zip tie and run it right through the mesh. Whoops. I want to make sure I catch that bar. There we go. And tie it off. There we go. So then our mesh will not be moving around. So that takes care of that. Because that can be a challenge just on the very beginning when you start. Now once you get going, it's not going to do anything like that. So take your mesh, once you have your first one, twist it around. Make sure you have, you know, all the edges covered. Come back up, see, just like this. Because what you want to do is make sure that there is no spots you can see through. So like that. Just like this. There we go. And then I'm going to go around the back and I'm going to tie it. So I'm going to go down to this third wire. Pull it up. Put my zip tie in. Tighten it down. You see? And that's what we're going to do all the way across. So, what I'll do, I'm just kind of straightening my mesh, I will pull my mesh, bunch it together, pull it across just like this. Make sure I'm covering the last layer, just the edge of it. Okay? And then I'll come in, go to the third one. Wrap it around my mesh, make sure it's nice and tight. I don't want it to be loose. And then just tighten it on there. Alright, same thing. So, this mesh is really pretty, but it kind of tends to get wrapped around itself, so I'm just kind of unraveling it. Alright, so you see how the mesh is kind of almost like doubled over? That's a really good way to just have it pull around. But you want to make sure that your little ends are tucked in because you don't want to see those. Those are not the pretty parts. So you can just kind of tuck them in like this and then pull it around just like that. There we go. Get another zip tie. Go down to the third. Pull it through. Put my mesh in there. Whoops. Okay. So before I pull it really tight, I'll just make sure that my mesh is tight and everything looks good. See, that's what we look like so far. See, that's good because that's covering what we want it to cover. Okay, so we're going to go back around. So when we do that, we want to make sure these ends are tucked in. Again, just pull it back around again. That's it. That's as complicated and difficult as it is. Then we do the same thing. Take our little zip tie, come in here. See, and the reason that I like to go down so low is because it just helps to cover that. Like that. Make sure that's tight. Okay. Then again, go back around again. Get that in. There we go. See that? It's looking good. So same thing. Just a zip tie in the third. Pull it down. Oh, where's the other end of my zip tie? There it is. I lost it there for a second. Okay. So pull it tight. Make sure it's where you want it to be. And then tighten. There we go. You can cut these off as you go, or you can cut them at the end. Okay. All right. Now we're just going to do the same thing. Pull it out. Make sure these ends are tucked under. And go back around. So that's all you're doing. You do want to overlap some because that just helps cover so that you're not seeing the inside of the frame or right through it. So do our little zip tie right here on the third. Put our mesh in. Pull it tight and tie it off. There we go. Okay. All right. Then again, we'll go pull it around. Make sure our little ends are covered. Pull it back around. Just tuck that end in. There we go. Okay. Hold on. There we go. For some reason that was flipping around. Okay. There we go. Now, same thing. And there's a crossbar here, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Okay. I'm just tying it on. Make sure it's tight. Tie it down tight. Alright. Okay. So, again. Again, back around. Just tuck those ends in. And come right back down. See, this is not difficult. Go down to that third one. See, all I'm doing is putting that zip tie in that third ring and then just tying it down. Okay. Pull it tight. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Now this should not take more than one roll of mesh. One roll of mesh should do just fine. Whoops, I pulled it too tight. Okay. Okay, so if you have one that starts to pull loose like this, what you can do is pull it back over and you can run a little zip tie through the one before it, because this mesh of course has little holes in it like that, and the one that's wanting to move. It's just a little trick to keep them together. It's not going to hurt the mesh, and it will save you a lot of aggravation. So I have some of these really tiny ones that are the same color. So I tend to like to use that just because it kind of hides it. But you don't have to do that. Then I'll just move it around so that it's not anything to scratch a surface. And then I'll go back to doing the same thing. So I will pull it back around. And of course, if you're starting to work with it and it twists, just go back, retwist it, and come back around. It's not going to hurt it. You know, you can work with it to get it the way that you want it to look before you tie it down. And go around, go to the third, pull my mesh down, and tie it off. Now I am repeating a lot of the steps, and that is, of course, for anyone who has not done this before. If you've done it before, you can skip right to the end, because all I'm going to be doing is just this same thing over and over. So we're almost to the end now. Okay. Here we go. Now, we're pretty much back around to the end. See, isn't that cute? So we'll just do it again. Just tuck it. See, that one wants to come loose too. So I'll do the same thing. I'll just slip my zip tie through this one and through the one before it and tie them together. It's just a little trick I learned to help keep them in place. There we go. See, now it's not going to come loose. Here we go. I like that. Alright. So, once again, we're just going to come around. So we're really on our last piece. So I want to make sure I have it tucked in nice and good so I can't see that edge. There we go. I do like to pull some around the edge, and what I'll do is tie it down. So I'm going to go, there's a little crossbar right here, so I'm going to go through the crossbar because that will help keep it in place. Okay? Then pull it around, make sure I have it tight. Then I will tie it down. Okay, so pull it in place, make sure I have it good and tight. And pull that down. Alright, now I'm not going to worry about that because we're going to fix that. Alright, there we go. Now, this last piece can be a little tricky, but there's, of course, little tricks you can use. So, one thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut this off because I don't need any more. So I'll cut that off and move that out of the way. There we go. Alright, so this last piece, we're going to do the same thing we did when we were tying the pieces together. So tuck it under the one before it, take a pipe cleaner and run it through the meshes. I'm having a hard time because they're both black. So I can't really see where it's going. I think I'll use the white one so I can see where I'm doing. And you can see better. Because I tell you, what I do when I make things like this is I put a placemat on the back. And then, for one thing, it helps to cover up all the back workings. It also helps if you're doing something like this. It will cover it if there's any spots that, you know, you can see through. So like you can kind of see through a little bit of this, but when you put a placemat in the back, that's gone. So that's what I did right there. See, and if you look in the front, it looks fine. You can't see where it was coming loose. So I'll get it all in place. I'm going to use the back, and I'm going to tie these two together. Okay. Just like this. Okay. There we go. So I'll just move them, make sure they're all good and covering everything. Like that. Okay, so now that we've gotten it all together, we are going to put our flames at the bottom and our little cauldron at the top. I also have these cute little legs. Look at that. We're going to stick them out the top. I love it. We're going to be using some 4-inch green mesh ribbon to simulate our, you know, what our little poisonous stuff that's coming out of our cauldron. And we have some other cute little things we'll put in, but for now, let's at least get started on doing the flames. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 10-inch orange mesh, roll it out upside down because it just helps to keep it from rolling back so much. Okay, so I'm going to cut, oh, let's cut like every 10 inches. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'll cut all these out and get the flames ready. And in the meantime, we're going to take our mesh that's left over, and I'm going to cut a piece. Oh, let's see, how much do we need? I'll say maybe 24 inches. I've got a spare piece here, so I'm just going to cut this. Cut this down to 24 inches. Alright, and I'll put that aside. Then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to roll it lengthwise because we need to make the lip of the cauldron. So, just roll it like this. There we go. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your wreath and you're going to make your little lip. This does want to unroll, but what I'm going to do is just, and I will tell you, I want to leave a little bit at the top because I want to have all of my things coming out, and I want my little lip to be a little bit wider. So I'll make sure it's sticking up pretty well. I'll just take a couple of zip ties, come around here to the back. I'm just going to stick it through here. There we go. All right. So I will just, I'm about, actually, we need to be a little bit higher. So we need to be about right here. So, I'm just kind of sticking this through my mesh so that I can have something to tie on to. Actually, I think I'll go more down here. Okay. So we'll take up our roll piece. Yep, that's about a good spot right there. I'm just going to tie it down. Okay, I want to tie it down tight, but I do not want this to be tight because I want you to be able to see this so that it looks like the lip of the cauldron. So I got that one tied down. I'm going to tie this one down. There we go. See, that's good. Okay. And I can just clip this off. If I can find my clippers. Alright. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not worried about this back because remember, I'm going to cover this. I'm going to cover this back with a placemat, so I'm not worried about it. So that's what our cauldron looks like right now. Doesn't really look a whole lot like a cauldron yet, but it will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting some flames cut, and then when I come back we will put the flames on, and we're going to take some of this and just kind of have it, you know, coming down, and some of it kind of sticking up like it is some of the witch's brew kind of bubbling out. We'll put our little legs on. We'll put a few little decorations on it, and then we'll be good to go. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've gotten a few cut, and I wanted to show you what I thought I would do. So I kind of made this like I do when I'm doing a flower, because I thought it would just kind of save a little time doing the flames. So what I did is I took my mesh, the way that it wants to roll. I did my little pull, pitched it in the middle, made my little bow tie, and then twisted that so that they're both facing the front. And I just hold on to this. Okay, and then I'm going to make a second one. Like this. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it around the other one. So then when I put my pipe cleaner on, I'll pull them all up like this and just tighten it. And all that does, make sure that stays front. All that does is have some going out to the side and some going up. So I thought that would make it a little bit easier just to, because you want flames going, you can actually pull some down, to leave it down too. Because you want some going up, some going across, some going down. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to take this pipe cleaner, and I'm going to stick it right through the bottom and just tie it on like that. Then I'm going to come back and make sure everything is going in the right direction. I think I am going to have it where one goes down, one goes up, and a couple go to the side. So what I will do is I will do that exact same thing, and I'm just going to go across. Let's see, this one. So I made several like that. Like this. And just run it through the bottom here. I'm just kind of sticking it through so that I can get to that. So I can get it around that wire frame. Can be a little bit of a challenge to get it through the mesh, but it will go through. So just kind of work with it. It'll come through. There we go. Okay. Like that. So now we have, now I'll just kind of arrange them so that they're going in all different directions, because you want it to look like it's fire. Fire isn't exactly something that would stick all in one direction. So, hi Bella. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep putting these along here. I'm gonna put them fairly close together just because, you know, this is a real cauldron, which of course it's not. There would be a pretty good amount of flames, and I kind of just like the way this looks. I think it looks really cute. So I'm just going to keep making these and going across. Let's see, I've done 1, 2, 3 sets of 2, so I'm probably going to need, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 more of these. So I'm just going to keep making these, and I actually have 2 different colors of the orange in here, just because this would be a really good project for you to use like a little bit of leftover 10-inch orange, just because flames are not all the same. And so I thought, oh, I'll just go ahead and use these 2 different kinds that I have. So I'll be back. I'm all finished putting them around here. I'm just going to use the same process, put my petals together, just put them on. And then when I get back, we're going to work on putting our brew up here. We're going to put in our legs. We're going to do a little decoration. And then we'll have a witch's cauldron. So I'll be back. Okay, so I have all the flames on. Isn't that cute? I love that. I think that's adorable. Now it is time to do the witch's brew. So I wanted to show you, that's what's going to go up here. I want to show you several different options. I had been thinking I was going to use the 4-inch mesh ribbon, but I was kind of playing with it and I just could not get it to do what I wanted to. So I thought, nope, I'm not going to do that. It's just not doing what I want. So I wanted to give you some options. So I have some of this green wired ribbon, and I thought that would be really cute. See, and what I would do is make little, just kind of roll it around my finger, has to be wired, and then make these little curly cues, and then I'm just going to kind of put them everywhere. Some up here, like the brew is kind of bubbling over, some coming down here, and just pull this down so that it's kind of curling around this way, like that. See, I like that. It kind of looks like some of it's spilling over the side. You can use tulle. So just cut a bunch of little pieces of tulle up and just have it, put it all around here, and then have some strips coming down. That looks really cute. I like that. And then the other thing you can do is I just took a 10-inch piece of, hi Bella, of a green mesh, and you can do some curlies and have that coming up. That looks really cute too. Then you just tie it on with a pipe cleaner and tie it onto the top. But what I decided I wanted to do is I want to use this ribbon, this green ribbon. You can just use any green ribbon that you have. You just want something that has wire in it, because what I want to do is I'm just going to take it and wrap it around my finger like this, and just about 2 or 3 good wraps, and then cut it off. And I'll just do it again. Like that. Pull it out, cut it off. So I'm just going to do this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them up here, just like this and this. I want them to be all kind of here going in different directions. Now, I showed you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a bunch of pieces like this. Now there's a couple of different options you have. Let me kind of move some of this stuff. There's a couple different options you have for attaching this on to the base. So one thing you can do is just use some floral wire. So I just have some floral wire here, and you can just kind of wrap it around, you know, several times, because you want it to stay on there really well. So I just wrap it around one end like this. Like that. And then I can just use this to pull it right through. I'm sure you can see. Pull it right through like this. And I'm going to kind of tuck it underneath this little roll. And then I can just kind of thread it through a couple times just to make sure it's on there really well. Kind of like I'm sewing. There we go. And then you just clip that off. Okay. So see, there's one. Another way you could do it. See, now I'll show you. Let's do one of the curls kind of coming down. So just do the same thing. Wrap it around your finger like this. Except this time you kind of want to pull it out a little bit. So it's like this. And then you can stick it right up under here, and then it kind of looks like it's bubbling out. You can also take some time around back here and have it coming over the lip like that. So you can do the floral wire. If you don't have floral wire, you can use zip ties. So I have all kinds of little zip ties, and this ribbon, so you could just bunch it up like this. Let's actually put this one like it's kind of bubbling over. So I would just put my little zip tie down here where it's going to be hidden by this roll. There we go. And then I will just tie it right around here. Make sure it's in there good. Tie it off. There we go. So there we go. Then you can just kind of work with your ribbon to get it to look like you want it to. There we go. If it comes out, just re-roll it around your finger. Kind of pull it out. There we go. Well, I'll play with that. But anyways, that gives you another way to do it. You can do the same thing with pipe cleaners. You know, no problem with doing that. I think I'm actually going to use the floral wire just because it's a little bit easier to hide and gives me just a little bit more control. So I will go through and make my little curlies like this. Now I'm just going to bunch it up. Take one end, wrap my wire around it, make sure it's nice and secure, like this. And then I will go to the base and just put it on. I want to put this one down closer to the base where my little roll is for the lip. That way I can hide and cover this one that I have coming out. So see? So don't worry too much if they get kind of messed up as you're going along, because at the end you can come back and just recurl them like that. See, it'll be easy to come back and do that. See, it looks like something's bubbling over. See, like little bubbles are coming out. I like that. See how that looks? So I'm going to put a whole bunch of that in here, going kind of all different directions. I might put some this way, put some down. But I want to cover this whole area and make sure it looks good. This, you know, if I don't like it the way it looks going over the edge, I might put some down. So I'm going to go along and put a bunch of these in here, right like this. And then when I get back, we will start on the little witch's legs. See, we have our little witch's legs that we're going to have coming out. See? And then we'll put, you know, some little decorations down here. And then we'll be good to go. So I will be back shortly. Okay, so I have gotten a whole bunch of the ribbon on here, and I'll tell you what I did. I have 24 pieces of the little ribbon on here. The majority of them are essentially 12 inches that I've just curled up. These longer ones are about 18 inches. So I just wanted a little bit more just so I could kind of hang it over the side. So it's like it's kind of bubbling over from our fire down here. So now that I've gotten this done, I wanted to go ahead and put the little witch's legs on. Let me pull this up a little bit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go to the back. I want to figure out where I want her legs to be, about right here in the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to take some wire, or you could use a zip tie. As a matter of fact, I might use both. So I'll just kind of run this up through here. Okay. Now I don't want to lay this down flat because I don't want to hurt any of the ribbon that we just put in. So just going to zip tie that in there. Okay. So let's see what she looks like now. Ah, there we go. So we've got our legs in. We've got our little bubbling cauldron going on. We've got our little fire. So now we can just put some cute little embellishments on it. So I was watching YouTube and saw Trendy Tree had some of these. Aren't these so cute? So I thought these would be really fun coming out of the cauldron. So, kind of like they're, I don't know, just cute. So I thought what we could do is just take these and kind of have them coming out of the cauldron. And I'll just put them a few little places and we'll see what it looks like. So these are just little styrofoam little skeletons. So I'm just going to kind of put them in there, and then I can tie them down. But I wanted to see kind of what it looked like coming out. I like that. That's cute. Okay. So I'll work on putting those down in a minute. I'm just going to use some wire, and I'll just take the wire and wrap it around the little piece that's already sticking up, and then I'll just run it right through my mesh and tie it. Oh, and let me show you this. So I tied the majority of these little ribbons using the wire to the frame. So I just pushed it right through this mesh and then tied it onto the frame. That just kind of helps keep it in place. So let's see what other cute things we have to put on here. Okay, so I have some other cute little decoration things. I love this. It's a little hand with a little spider on it. I thought that would be really cute, kind of right here on the, I like that. So I'm just going to, it's a pick, so I'm just going to cut some of it off. Some of these picks are pretty tough, so. Alright. Now what I can do is just stick it right in between the mesh, and then tie it in the back to the frame. Trying not to get my ribbons smushed here. Okay. So, let's figure out where we want him to be. Maybe there. Okay, so I'm just going to tie this on the back with some floral wire. Okay. Then I will kind of arrange it a little bit. Like that. Okay. I like that. That's cute. Okay. So, what I will do is I will take some hot glue and I will kind of glue his hands in place so that he will not move his little hand. Otherwise, I think there's a chance that that hand is going to go not anywhere I want it to go. Alright, so I'm going to take my little skulls here. I'm going to wrap some wire around that. Okay, we got two done. We got to do the other one here. Just like that. Now I got these skulls at Trendy Tree. I got this little hand pick at Craft Outlet. So I'm just going to turn this around so you can see. So I'll just take my little head and I'm just going to take this wire and I'm just going to stick it, find a place I can stick it in. Whoops. So I'm just sticking it through the back, and then I will grab it and tie it around the frame. I have it through, I'm just trying to grab it with my other hand. There we go. Okay, so I have him pulled down, and I'm just going to take this and wrap it around the base here. Now remember, I'm going to cover all of this here, so there is no need to worry about that at this point. I'm going to turn my little head around. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so what I'll do is I will move his head until I get him where I want him to go, and I'll kind of move my ribbons around here to cover up little thing, but I want it to be like he's coming out. So that's good. See, now when I get the back part on this, it will help keep these legs in place. I'll show you what I mean. I will get a black one. I just have it in the other room, but I just wanted to show you. So what I'll do is I will take this, and thanks to Carmen, I now know that I can just take a little hole punch, run it through right in here to make a little hole in my thing here. Just make a little hole. I'll tell you what else you can use. Here we go. I have this little punch, and I use this for when I'm working on metal. So anything that'll punch a hole in something will work, because you just need to make it big enough so that you can get wire or something else through it. Like that. See? And so you just use that and tie that directly onto the base of your wreath. So when I come back with my black one, I'm going to tie it around these legs, and it's going to hold them exactly where I want them to be. Now, the other thing that I've had a lot of questions on, and I think it's very important that you know, is how to do a hanger. So one thing that I tend to use, so I bought some of this. This is the rustic wire, and all it is wire that has been wrapped so that you can't really see the wire inside it. And I will just cut some of it off like this, and I will put this beneath my placemat. So all I do is I will, run it through my frame and then just make a little hook, just like this. So I will do all that later, but I wanted to explain how that works, how I do that, because I have that question a lot. So, all right. So now I'll just continue decorating. I want to put a few more of these little heads in. So I'll just do the same thing. I will just run it right through the mesh. So now we have two in. They look like they're kind of coming out from the cauldron that our witch fell in. And if any of your ribbons come loose, just kind of push them back. They'll go back. That's the great thing about using wire. So I want one more. I think I'll put him like maybe kind of down near the front. So, there we go. So now I'll just do the same thing. I'll just tie it around my frame. Till I get it in there nice and tight. Of course, I have way more wire than I need, and that's okay. I don't like to not have enough, because then you have a problem. So you can always trim it off if you need to. Okay. So now we got our little heads in here. So all I have to do is refluff my little ribbons, get them going where I want them to. Kind of move my little heads around. There we go. Now, some other things that you can put in, you can put as much or as little as you want. So one thing that you can get, there are all kinds of cute little picks that you can get this kind of, for, you know, this kind of project, especially this time of year. So you can get these cute little things. They have little pumpkins. I love these little balls. So you can just take this, cut it off, just pulling a little bit out. There we go. And you could have this coming from back here, like this. Oh, let's pull this up. Like this. You can have some down here. See that? Oh, where'd our little hand go? I didn't tie him on very well. He fell off. Okay, so here's our little guy. So I'll put him back in. So what I'm going to do with him is I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to put some glue on his fingers here. Like this. Because I want his fingers to be kind of touching the top of the cauldron like this. So I'll just kind of hold it there and make sure it stays. Now I'll probably put a little bit more glue under the hand here. So just gonna kind of there. There we go. So that will help hold him in place. The legs were getting caught. So see how cute that is? And I will make sure that none of this is showing. So, fluff my ribbons back up. See, got our little guys hanging out. If I have any trouble with them, I'll kind of shorten their little curls and keep them going where I want them to go. Okay, so after I get the little heads in, and I've got them where I want them, and everything else is in place, I wanted to put one of these in. I love these. And I am just going to stick it down here and have it kind of coming out to the side like this. I like that. And I have this little crow. Isn't that cute? I got him from the Dollar Tree, and he came with little wire on him. So I'm just going to put him over here on the side, and I'm just going to stick the wire right through my mesh, and then I will go in the back and tie it on. There we go. Let's get him down there. There we go. So, kind of get that in place. There we go. And that's our finished cauldron. The legs are kind of falling over. But remember, I'm going to put a mat back there, so that'll help with that. So, I want to step back so you can see the whole thing. Let's see. I think that looks good. I think it looks cute. It's got all kinds of interest. We have our blackbird. We've got our skeletons, our little hand, our flames. And this, of course, is our brew up here. And our witch with our witch's legs. So I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, there, you can see it better now. And that you will let me know what you think. And that you will try a project like this. Because Halloween will be here before you know it. And it's going to be fun. These are fun to make and to put on your door. Just something different to do. So let me know what you thought. And make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.